Thank you for tuning into Cytology 101. I'm your host, Sydney Robinson. We'll get into the challenges of the dental industry, empower leaders to inspire their teams, and foster collaboration between office team members and practice owners. Together, we'll find creative solutions to get shit done.
So now we've been on this journey for the last almost full year. I've been in a training program to learn to facilitate and give space and work with individuals on these triggers that they're having. You know, when you have something pop up that instantly makes you angry, there's a reason. It's not just them.
Yeah.
Like what is happening in you that made you that mad. So my little pitch that I've kind of designed is I'm working with people who have built their identities off of checking things off of a list and have reached burnout. And I'm now helping them to create space for clarity, strategy, and learn to lead from a place of calm and conviction and not just out of hustle.
Ooh.
So we do. I do personally, not we. The we's in my head. That's the voices in my head.
All the voices, yeah.
But yeah, I do 1 hour sessions. I also have a 3-month program where I'm working with people just to help get back to themselves so that they can lead from a place of just calm and love instead of reaction and just feeling like they're constantly putting out fires. And the reason I came up with that pitch is because she was me. I built my identity off of how much I could get done. And I actually did a podcast with Mark yesterday, and he mentioned, if I just told you, hey, Ashlee, you're doing so great, look at how much you get done, you would just get more done, which was on paper amazing until homegirl broke out in hives and shingles and had an absolute meltdown and disappeared from the face of the earth because I couldn't handle it anymore and I didn't have any coping skills. So
that is still triggering for me, so let's not bring that up.
So I am trying now to help people not have to ever go where I went. Yeah, I get it.
As we're talking about trauma.
Mama came back.
The abandonment issues.
I owe you a session. Maybe we should do a
owe me a session. Remember that time you left me here with all these people? Oh my God. And you know what? You said something, and I know I'm laughing, but girl, seriously, that hit my soul because you was like, what triggers? Like, what is that outburst? And when you left, I think it was that hurt and what happened. And I was so protective of you too, that it was like, well, no. Because like shit literally had to break. Like someone literally had to take a boulder and just crush whatever it is that like inner piece of Ashlee for her to do this. And I want to know who did it so I can murder everybody. Like, who do I need to cut?
Aww.
And then if anybody said anything wrong, because I think I was in that mindset, there was like 3 things that happened. I went through anger because I am my defense is I'm a fighter. I'm not freeze or flight. I don't run. I am a fight kind of defense response. And so I remember that. And I remember I was so triggered by it. I remember if someone said anything like negative, well, such and such didn't do this. Excuse me? Because let me tell you, even if she did fuck up, let me tell you, she taught us everything that we know. And this is how we got here, y'all. So I don't give a flying F word what you said she did. I don't care. Just fix it. And then we hired someone to try to replace you, and it hurt even worse because that person wasn't you. So y'all, I am triggered, and Ashlee does owe me an interview.
I do. I'll give you, but I call it my root work session. We'll do a little root work on that.
Yes. But I will say in that time that you did leave, I think some of those things that you helped teach me was like that organization that was, hey, we got to hear people out. We got to say less, and I started to learn those when you left because I was like, I got to channel that inner Ashlee. I got to be able to still get this done because I don't have that partner anymore who's going to have my back. So I got to be that person. And I think that was like a changing moment for me, although it was super dramatic and traumatic. I think it put me on a different path towards leadership. Also, I love that you said, that we have to figure out what is causing that reactiveness. So whenever you're having these type of conversations, so, I am one of those ones, I still have a reaction, but now I try not to blow up as aggressively as I just did. So when you're working with someone, what is the number one thing that you have them recognize first as you're starting to work on inner peace? I'm calling it inner peace. I don't know if that's what you call it, but in a word, I think is what you call it.
I call it alignment. If inner peace feels right, it's just calmness. It's the opposite of the outburst, whatever the opposite of the outburst is. I have a really awesome exercise that we call thoughts, feelings, outcomes. And so we start with that feeling, right? I have a good one. I was absolutely livid that I had an assistant that asked for what I thought was a crazy raise. And so where we start is this instance of what made you mad. And then you go to the thoughts. What are the thoughts you're thinking about that? Well, the thoughts I was thinking was, well, she's ungrateful. Well, she doesn't understand the profitability of this organization. She is taking advantage of me. She's just looking for, and these are all the thoughts that I have. Then what we move on to from all those thoughts is the feelings. What am I feeling? Oh, I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling disappointed. I'm feeling scared because I'm going to have to hire someone else. I'm frustrated. And from there, it's where do you feel those feelings in your body? And that's the piece that people are missing the connection from a lot. They just allow themselves to be in that crazy, angry headspace, or that, or they may dissociate, if they're scared or sad. And if you take the time and notice where you're feeling it in your body. In that instance, I was feeling in my throat, just like I wanted to scream, and it felt like fire. And, there's actually, this is also scientific too. There's a book, it's called The Body Keeps the Score. Your body has reactions. And these are not, feelings aren't bullshit, and the more that you suppress them, the more that you will have these outbursts. So the more that you try and regulate it and just like push it down, the more likely it is to come out at another time. Again, it's science, actually. So where do you feel it in your body? And that's the piece that people are missing a lot. And I try and give a lot of space for, first, just give people time to notice, like, oh, I'm angry, and encouraging people in their daily life to notice when they're triggered instead of following through on the trigger. It's just noticing, oh, that made me angry and I feel it here. That's a good place to start.
Wow.
And then,
as you're saying that, I feel like I'm in a therapy session right now, because I just went right towards, like, especially when you said about your throat, there's sometimes I feel like I can't swallow. Yesterday was a really stressed day for me. There was a lot of things going on. And I just remember I kept saying, I feel like I can't catch my breath. And so I was like feeling that in my chest. And then I didn't realize I was holding my breath. And that was really what was going on. So it's funny that you said that, because that's where, if you start to recognize those signs, and I wasn't thinking that until just now. It's like, that now makes sense.
Yeah, you can start to make the connection.
Yeah.
The next step from there too is, when was an earlier time you felt like this? When have you been triggered like this before? And if you can, the earlier, the better, in my experience. If you can notice, like, well, I've actually felt this way when my dad used to yell at me, you know what I mean? But it doesn't have to be that earlier. It's like, hey, that ex that I had, really, like, I would feel that exact same feeling.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And then we move through meditations to, like, connect with that self and give that self what they need, and hopefully move that energy and move that block around that, so that the next time this happens, you don't have that same reaction.
I love that. I've been the past year, my book has been How to Have a Good Day in behavioral science. Everybody knows Sydney does not know how to read a room sometimes. I'm still saying sometimes, because I'm working on it. It's a constant practice for me. But this book really helped with that. And that's how I figured out what type of defense I have. And mine is, fight. And she talks about the two-system brain and how our automatic system protects ourselves. Well, now you're moving from mindfulness into the body, and your body is telling you too. So I can't wait to really get into the book that you just said, because now that I've been working this past year on how to have a good day and how to really recognize those signs. And mine is impulsive. So it's funny that you said that, because I tend to blow up and hold those feelings in, because I ask myself, you know what, is it worth it? And no, I'm just going to move on to the next thing, because if not, then blah, blah, blah. And then it just all blows up all at once. So that was a really good one. And I, as I'm thinking about the different stages of leadership, now as you're recognizing those signs, you're working on yourself, you're hiring a person who can help relieve some of this stress. How do you lead your virtual assistants or executive assistants or personal assistants? Now that you're working on yourself, how do you incorporate this into avoiding those times where you are blowing up? Like, for example, you gave the example of reading my mind, right? How do you communicate virtually with your personal and or your executive assistants if, as a dentist, you can't have them in the office 100% of the time?
Ooh, that's a really good question, because my assistants are always virtual too. Honestly, I kind of think it's sometimes easier, actually, but that's just me. And I know that dentists don't always work that way. You have to, you get out of something what you put into it. So it's about developing communication styles and knowing, why didn't they read my mind? It's about going back to yourself first. Well, what did I do? Did I not give them the right tools? Did I not explain this well? And you have to, that's the other book, Extreme Ownership, right? Like that.
Girl,
Now
yes.
we're out of the feelings and into Jocko Willink and and Navy SEALs.
God, yes.
So that's
his voice just rang in my head, and I just reacted out loud.
Yeah, but the point is, it's owning that whatever is happening in your business and in your communications with your team is your fault, basically. And how back to my piece a little bit, in these sessions and in this work that you do, you learn to speak to yourself differently and learn about yourself, which then gives you more capacity to do that with other people and communicate, have empathy, and just communicate more effectively with your team. Again, you have to assume that you didn't give them the right tools or the right time to connect with you. If you're not checking your WhatsApp, or if you're not checking your text messages and you told them that's how they could reach you, that's on you, But what you can do, like, give them times. Hey, just so you know, I'm in practice today and I'll be able to check my phone at these times. Try and set it up whenever you can, or I'll answer as soon as I can. Please be available during these times. It's just about learning your team and setting your expectations of what you need from them as well. Like, hey, I need you to be by your phone because I can only check at 3 in between patients. So just please be ready. I might send you a quick message. I just need you to be available, and it'll be through these hours.
I love that, because I think something that I picked up from you, I know a couple months ago, we were running into just communication, and it goes back to, she's the GSD queen, y'all. And so it's like, hey, she'll give a task or whatnot, and it may be like 2 hours before I even respond. And so she'll like text and she'll go, hey, did you see my message? And in my mind, I go, yeah, but I'm working on this, this, and this. And so even as you are giving me that task, and although the due date is, I look at it and you're giving me the due date is like tomorrow, for example, or whatever, because you do a great job of communicating when you need something by. But it's that missing piece of, is this going to fall through the cracks, and just acknowledge. For me, it was, well, this isn't due until tomorrow, so I'm not going to respond to this right now, and I will go back. Or I don't, in this case, it was, I think, emails. I don't look at emails all throughout the day. My emails, I check either first thing in the morning or late at night, because I do have a busy day. But vice versa for Ashlee, hey, her email is always up, and she's seeing this. And so I'm opposite. But if you send me a Discord or text message, I'll get to you a lot faster than I would an actual email. I love that you said that, because even leading up, because Ashlee is my boss, you are my boss. And so leading up, I had to have this conversation, because it was getting to me. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm being micromanaged. Like, give me a break. And then on her end, she's like, well, just acknowledge that you saw my email or my message.
Up,
yes. And so it was like one of those things where I had to, and then going back to the book, How to Have a Good Day, I got to that chapter. And so it was like, hey, let's set these expectations of, hey, Ashlee, I check my email from this time to this time. If it is something that you need, and guess what we do now, y'all? She will text me and I will respond to it. And then sweet Ashlee, I know she's probably like, oh my God, she just left a voice memo. Cause I use voice memos, y'all, cause I'm a slow texter. And so I was like, this is faster. I'm just going to send you a voice memo. And so I hope that works. She hasn't told me it doesn't, but
What's so funny about it is I absolutely despise voice memos, but because I don't process audioly very well, I process through reading better.
Yeah.
But thank God for iPhone, because it transcribes that little baby, and I still read it. So it honestly works just fine.
It does. And I have to put my little disclosure when I do a talk to text. I'll just like, hey, this is a talk to text. But it's funny because you just have to find those things out by asking questions. But also as you're doing inner work and you're finding out what's triggering you, well, what's triggering is this is what's happening. If I just can close this loop, then this will go a lot better, or it'll be a win-win for all of us. And I think that's a full circle of virtual communication, setting expectations, but also taking extreme ownership. Now, here's the $1 million question, Ashlee. And I know that we have this happen a lot. Your team start to put a lot onto your executive or your personal assistant. And now it's like, oh, well, this is this person's job. What advice would you give your clients for how do you successfully integrate not only that personal and executive assistant, but how do you set expectations for your team members?
So I love this question so much because it happens all the time. And the other thing that happens too is this fear and triggering that can come up when now all of a sudden there's a new team member who has direct access to the boss. Well, oh, now that's the favorite person, and oh, now we work for this person, and it can build some resentments there as well. I always tell a business owner, practice owner, when they're bringing on an assistant, it goes back to the extreme ownership, and it's about framing. So when you go to your team and you're like, hey, I 100% know I have been the bottleneck and the reason that these things are not getting done. And so now here, this person is going to hold me accountable to make sure that these things get done. And they're going to sometimes do them themselves, or, they're going to help me eliminate being the bottleneck. They're here to help us as a whole, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, you're delegating to them. You can let them know about projects and if you need help, or if you get stuck on something, but they're here as my extension because I'm the bottleneck. But you sometimes also you don't necessarily have to address it until it happened. Actually happened with me and you, because with Esty, and I was like, oh, Esty, put this on Sydney's schedule or something. And you were like, Ashlee, ma'am, could you it's not a problem yet, but just a note. And I was like, that's valid. I was getting shit done, and you weren't responding. Yep. It had been 2 hours.
Yes, it had been 2 hours.
I was trying to get my shit done because in my little brain, I need my checklist to be done so that I can, sit peacefully, and then that's some other work I do myself. But anyway, yeah, that's biting those things in the bud, nipping those things in the bud before or as they happen is important in a gentle way. Of course, it's like, hey, that's not why she's here.
Biting things in the bud in a gentle way. I don't know how to interpretate that, listeners, but
it's about a bud when you cut a plant, nipping it in the bud.
Square peg, round hole. Oh God. Okay. Yeah, well, y'all know how I roll, but I think, Ashlee, that is perfect. And I think that we're now into this world where people are hiring virtual assistants. They're hiring executive assistants, and y'all know that I'm trying to eradicate front office. So now we're truly building a dental practice like a company, because you are a small business owner. Office managers, I know you can take advantage of this too, where maybe there are tasks that you guys just can't complete because not only are you an office manager, but you're also the TC. You're also the one, that answers phones and receptionist. Now it's probably time for you guys to have a personal assistant for the office. And I think this is a really great resource that you offer to everyone. So if someone is interested in joining or hiring you, where would they go?
Yes. If you are a DSN member, which I am encouraging all dentists to be a DSN member, if you're listening to this, feel free to message me inside of WorkVivo, or if you are listening to this and you are not a dentist or not a DSN member, you can visit gsdqueen.com and fill out a form and reach out to me there.
Awesome. Well, we'll make sure we'll have that in the show notes as well. Ashlee, I am so honored you joined me on this one. I fangirled out so hard too at Summit when I was speaking and you walked into the room and I just started giggling. I was like, oh my God, she's here. Words can't express how honored I am that you joined me. And guys, if you are looking to hire, she is the GSD queen herself, and she can definitely help you get an executive or a personal assistant. Or if you just want to do inner work, you want to work on some of those techniques that she just mentioned, make sure that you go and you visit her website. So thank you, Ashlee, for joining me.
Yes, of course. I just have to add to that too, Sid. You may be fangirling, but I'm like proud mama, just so proud of just where you've come and grown to. So I can't express enough how proud I am of you. So
thank you.
Congratulations on everything you have going too.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for another episode of Sidology 101.
Hey everyone, we're thrilled to announce the launch of our brand new 12-week office manager training course. This course is for office managers and team members, designed specifically for dental practices that want to elevate their leadership, efficiency, and patient experience. Whether you are an existing office manager who is looking to level up your skill or you're new to leadership, this comprehensive course is built to deliver real-world skills and lasting results, y'all. What you can expect is a step-by-step guidance through the core pillars of dental office management, live coaching with myself and my partner, Kendall, practical templates, systems, checklists ready for you guys to use, or we may have to make a few tweaks to it, a supportive community of peers and mentors, and a certificate of completion to celebrate your success. And then a bonus, what you can expect is a complete book packet homework kit, which is going to be super fun because there's a ton of helpful resources inside of that kit that we will mail to you. So I want to take the moment to just let you all know that we have launched this. If you have not gone to foacoaching.com, head over to our website, check out the course, see if this is something for you. This, again, it is 12 weeks, but I have to let people know this is virtual. We can go at your pace. And for all of our listeners, you do get a $200 off when you sign up by using promo code 12week Sidology. So if you are interested in joining this 12-week office manager or team training course, head over to foacoaching.com. Go ahead and apply and get signed up, and we'll get you onboarded. This has been another episode of Sidology 101. Today's episode was sponsored by FOA Coaching. If you would like to find out more about team training or personalized coaching, visit foacoaching.com. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Sidology 101. Until next time, friends.